Hey everyone, I'm Danny and welcome to Muggle Magic. I've been working on an advanced potion making book replica for like 2 years now, and when I first started it, I announced it on my channel. Probably announced it a little bit too early because this thing is taking forever to get done. I just don't have a whole lot of time to devote to it. So I'm working on it on little bits and pieces here and there when I do have the time. So the cover is one of the only things that's completely finished. The interior, there are a few chapters finished. I still need to do some of the design work on the pages and stuff, but the writing is done. And then I've still got a whole bunch of chapters to write. I've got some people helping me on Patreon. So thank you guys for agreeing to help write some of the content for this. This is going to be a fully readable 300-page book on potion making. So yeah, it's just a replica of what you saw in the movie. Anyways, I thought it would be cool, since I do have the cover finished completely, to do sort of like a DIY where you can make a sort of like a trinket box where you would put things inside of it, like one of those books that open up and it's like a box inside. I can't remember what those are called. A book box, maybe? I don't know. But anyways, I thought it would be cool to make one of these, but make it look like the advanced potion making book in the movies, so you could kind of have it on your shelf for people who just aren't too worried about the inside pages so much as having something that looks cool on the outside. So that's what we're gonna do in this video today. Go ahead and check out the description box below for a list of supplies you're gonna need, as well as the free downloadable templates, and let's get started. So to do this project, you will need a book box. So this is basically, it's just like a box that looks like a book. I got this at a local craft store, but I'm gonna leave a link in the description box to this video to Amazon, where you can buy one that is almost the same size. I have the template that I'm using is a bit smaller than the one you guys are going to use, because the one you guys are going to use that you can download down there was actually made to fit the one that you'll get from Amazon. So yeah, this one might look a little bit not quite as wide, but that's why. So anyways, yeah, you're going to need the book box, and then you're also going to need to download and print the templates. So you've got the cover, and then you've got the inside texture for the end paper. So the idea for this is basically to start off, just trim off all the white space from around these templates. So you can use a paper cutter. You could use scissors, though I don't recommend it. And what I'm going to use is a ruler and X-Acto knife. So for anybody who doesn't have a paper cutter, you can just do what I'm doing. Line up the ruler with the edge that you want to cut, and then just follow along with your X-Acto knife. Now for the end paper, we're going to set this aside because you're going to cut this. It's going to be sized a little bit differently, but for the cover, just go ahead and trim off all that white space. And now we're going to basically just rebrand this book box as the Advanced Potion Making Book. And the way I do it is I will line up the spine first and make sure that that is centered. And then once you're happy with the position of the spine, what we're going to do is just make some folds on the paper. And this way it's going to be easier later on. So let's just go ahead and fold the paper around the spine and sort of bend it along the spine right here. So we're sort of saving our spot in a way right here, so we know where to position it after we take it off of the book box. And then you can set the book box down, open up the front, and wrap this around the front as well. I would probably go ahead and wrap this edge over first and make sure that it will close. And then at that point you can see if the front cover looks off. Mine's just like slightly off, but it's not too bad. So I'm just going to keep it as is, because if I change it, I think the spine might not quite line up right. Now at this point, as you can see, this is actually like connected to the book box. So this edge of the paper isn't going to be able to fold in very much. So you can take something, you could use like a mechanical pencil without the lead out. I'm just going to use this tool right here. It's like a plastic bone knife type thing that's really used to smooth things out. But yeah, I can use this to sort of fold this around into that crease. And now you can open it up and just keep folding all these parts around it so that we know where to glue. And again, on these like parts right here, like that are, you can't get the paper to tuck in very well, you can just tuck it in with your tool of choice. Like I said, I'm using this like bone knife type thing. So we have all the paper folded around here. Now you can just remove the box, and then at this point we will use scissors. So if we're looking at it on the front side, this will make it a little easier to explain. So you can see where you've made the folds, where I've made the folds as well. And what you want to do is cut this corner off, this little square. So I'm going to cut up to the corner where I started folding here. And then I'm going to cut in this way as well. And then that corner square will just come off, and this will make it easier when we actually start gluing this on. And then you also probably want to make this cut at a bit of an angle here, and that's actually going to help when we start folding it around the box. Let's do that to both corners. And we can do that to the back corners as well. All right, now we can start gluing this on. I'm just going to use a glue stick. There's probably a better thing to use, but for now, for this, this is what I'm going to use because it dries fast and it's easy to do. So first, we'll put glue all over the front of the book. And then what I do is line up the spine with where your folds were, and then you can just open this up, and it should be right at just about the right spot. So now we're gluing that down onto the book box like this, and you can smooth the glue out from it, or smooth the paper over the glue, sort of, so that you know that it's all glued down. I'm just going to use just a cloth to do this. And now we can start gluing down the inside of this as well. I almost forgot, we do need to make a cut right here and right here in order for these edges to be able to fold over. And then the slanted edge can come down. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on these two corners here. And then the slanted edge can go around and over. So now we have the front pretty much how we want it. So now at this point, you can go ahead and make a couple more cuts along here right up to the corner of the spine on both the top and the bottom, so that this can fold in like that. So then, here we go. These two corner flaps are actually going, or top and bottom flaps are actually going to fold in toward the spine, and then you can sort of get it in there just like that. And now we can start gluing the back of the book and the spine. So we'll just put glue all over the spine here, all over the back of the book. All right, now the cover should just wrap around pretty easily. You want to pull it pretty tight so that there's no air bubbles in there. And then any air bubbles that might be in there, you can usually work out with a piece of cloth or something just to smooth it onto the box. Okay, so yeah, that looks pretty good where we have it so far. And now we need to glue these little strips in here, these little pieces, and then we're going to trim the excess off. So go ahead and use a glue stick or whatever glue you're using to do this. We're just going to put some glue here. And then this should fold in. You want to fold it in as tight as you can. And then you can take your X-Acto knife as soon as you have it folded in tightly into the corner here. And you can take your X-Acto knife and just go ahead and, whoop, I ripped it a little bit. You might want to wait for it to actually dry more before you do this. I did not, so I just kind of ripped mine a little bit. But you should be able to sort of trim off the excess, and that's not working. It's okay, so mine's going to look a little bit more worn right here with some rips and stuff. But once it's dry, you should be able to trim this extra bit off. Maybe if I hold part of it down with this knife and cut with my X-Acto blade, this might work a little bit better. Yeah, that is not working. So, it worked last time I did it, and this time it is not. So I'm going to resort to using my scissors. I think the glue was still just a little bit too wet. That's why it didn't work this time. It just looks a little bit worn in there. It doesn't look too bad, so that's okay. And I'm gonna approach it a little bit differently on the top and the bottom. So I suggest you use the method that I use next instead of what I just did here. So what I'm gonna do next is fold these in and then crease them with this bone knife here. And then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and do this before I add any type of glue so that I know that it's dry when I do this. And yeah, that definitely worked way better. So I would do the cutting on this first and then use the cutting with the X-Acto knife first and then add the glue. I will now add the glue. And then we can fold it back in. There, that worked out a lot better. Now let's just go ahead and do that same thing for the top and bottom of the spine as well as this side, as basically all the way around. All right, so when you are done gluing this cover on, your book box should look something like this. And at this point, it looks pretty good and you could be done, but I really wanted to get the Half-Blood Prince's notes on the inside of this and have that texture and pattern for the end paper to be in here just to make it look a little bit cooler. So all you really need to do here is sort of measure how much you need to cut out, and then one side will have the notes and the other side is blank. So the side that has the notes, just go ahead and measure out what size this square needs to be, and then what size the inner square to line the back of the inside of the book box to be. You can cut that out of this piece of paper and then just glue it on where it needs to be. So when you're done, the end paper will be right on the inside of your book box like this, and you can see the, okay, there we go, in focus. Okay, so you can see the Half-Blood Prince's notes on the inside and the end paper on the inside of the box as well. And that just gives it another extra like cool little touch to make it seem better. So yeah, this is what the end product should look like. The cover is a reproduction by me, totally done from the ground up in Photoshop. I created the texture, I redrew all of this stuff. So this cover was actually designed for, like I said, the fully readable book that I'm working on, which is nowhere near being done, but the cover was done and the end paper and the notes on the inside, and I wanted to do something cool with it and give you guys something advanced potion making book related. And this is a really cool alternative to having a real book because, I mean, it looks really, really nice on your shelf, and you can actually use it to put things in. If you want to like hide your secret things in your advanced potion making book, you can now. I really hope you guys like this DIY. It was really fun to design, and I am having a good time designing the rest of the interior pages for this advanced potion making book replica, but it's just time consuming. So yeah, it will be coming in the far future. If you'd like a chance at winning the DIY that I made in this video today, there is a link in the description box below to the giveaway. Down there you're also going to find my 55K giveaway, which is for the Weasley twin pop figures, as well as a Weasley's Wizard Wheezes catalog, and a professionally printed haunted deck designed by me. So if you're a big fan of the Weasleys, this was like the perfect giveaway for you. So that link's in the description box down there as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Remember, I get a lot of ideas for these DIYs that I do from your comments. So if you have an idea for something that you want to see me do in the future, definitely leave a comment below and let me know. If you're interested in seeing more DIY videos having to do with Harry Potter and more, go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.